Welcome. We have three more categories to do a deep dive in. We have our winds and dragons, we have our 369s, and we have our singles and pairs. Today we're going to be looking at the winds and dragons. These are the tiles that I'm going to be using or that are actually used in the winds and dragons. This is the Mother Nature set from Chris Lloyd. So this is our flower section. This is our wind section, north, east, west, and south, jokers, and our dragon section. So we have our, blue dragons, soap. These are known as soaps. Whenever you see a dragon that's blue, usually that indicates a soap. We have our green dragon, and we have our red dragon. And what's great about this set is people that are colorblind, they can actually distinguish the dragons because they have different poses. So, and then here, I just want to point out, this is kind of fun. So these flowers, these up here are called capture tiles because the honey bear captures the honey and the bunny or the rabbit captures the lettuce or the celery. And that's something that's used in Singapore Mahjong where you get extra points. And there's some more capture tiles I'll show you at the end of this section or at the end of this video. I'll be showing you the whole Chris Lloyd set. So this is our wind section. We have all exposed hands except for the very last one, which is closed. And then the one right above that is worth 30 points, and that's an exposed hand. So we'll be going through these one by one. And there's only two lines here that have two hands. We have the first line here has this hand and that hand. And then this line here has two hands, and it's a 2025 hand in the winds and dragons. Let's take a look at the first hand here. This wind section is all winds. It's just a matter of pattern that's different. We have Kong, Pung, Pung, Kong. And then here we have Pung, Kong, Kong, Pung. And I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, and this is what it looks like. We have our Kong of north, our Pung of east, our Pung of west, and our Kong of south. And you can use a joker in for any tile. Any tile in this hand can be replaced with a joker. There are no pairs in here, or singles, or chows. If you remember, there were no instruction in because there's no suits. It's fairly straightforward. And I'll show you what that second hand looks like in the first line. And this is the second hand. We just changed our pungs and kongs around. So we have a pung of north, a kong of east, kong of west, and a pung of south. Again, jokers can be used in every single block here. And we have our pattern of pung, kong, kong, pung. Okay, and here's our second hand. I really like this hand. And sometimes newcomers or beginners find this hand tricky just in the sense of how it's written out. So we have a pair of flowers. We have our chow, 1, 2, 3. We have a pair of dragons. We have a pung of dragons, and we have a kong of dragons. So remember, read your parentheses and count your tiles. Any 3 consecutive numbers in any suit, in any one suit, any 3 dragons. This is where you have to look at the color, the diagram of the hand, and then also read what's in the parentheses. Any 3 consecutive numbers in any one suit, any 3 dragons. So let's take a look. This is what our hand looks like in real tiles. We have a pair. We have our chow, 7, 8, 9. And this has to be the same suit. You cannot mix suits. And these are considered singles. And then we have a pair of dragons here. We have a pung of dragons and we have a kong of dragons. And it does not matter which dragons you have where. You can have the soaps here. You can have the red here. You can have the green here. What people get mixed up on is because they have this kong of dragons written in blue. So they think that this kong of dragons has to match this chow, and they just don't have enough ink. So that's why they had to use the blue or the black because they didn't have any other color. And that's why, again, it's important to read your parentheses because it says any dragons. So that means your dragons can be put anywhere in any order. If you have any questions about this, let me know. But this is actually a fun hand. When it starts coming in, you can use jokers here and you can use jokers here. I did not do that. Okay. And this is what the pattern looks like. So we have our pair, single, 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 our chow. We have a pair, pung and kong. Whoops, I accidentally hit. So again, the only place you can use your jokers is here and here. And that's what it looks like. Let's move on to our third hand. So this is our third hand. We have a pung of flowers, pair of north, a pair of east, a pung of west, and a kong of south. And again, notice there's no parentheses because there's no suits. It's all a flowers or it's a wind. And it has to be these tiles. It has to be north, east, west, and south. You cannot mix up the tiles. Same with this top one too. Well, same with the whole category. You cannot mix up your wind tiles. So I can't have, let's say, south, north, east, west. It has to be what is written out on the card. And that's exposed, and it's 25 points. This is what the hand looks like. We have our pung of flowers, and I'm showing these jokers here because some people, they don't think they can use jokers for flowers. As long as it's a pung, kong, or quint, you can. So I have our pung of flowers, a pair of north, pair of east, pung of west, kong of south. This is our pattern, pung, pair, pair, pung, kong. And again, you can use jokers here. You can use jokers here and here. You cannot use jokers in the pair. That's a no-no. So you have 3 blocks that you can use your jokers in. And you have to use the north where it says north, the east where it says east, etc., etc. And that's this hand. And let's move on to the next one. So for some reason, I like this hand when I can get it. So you have your kong of flowers, you have a pung of dragons, then news, NEWS, those are single tiles, and a pung of dragons. So it says dragons, any 2 suits. So the dragons have to be 2 different suits, and it's an exposed hand, and it's worth 25 points. And this is what the hand looks like. So we have our kong of flowers, which jokers can be used here anywhere. We have a pung of dragons. Jokers can be used here. We have our singles, news, NEWS. And we have a pung of dragons that are in a different suit than these dragons. And again, jokers can be used there. So our pattern is kong, pung, single, 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 pung. And you have jokers, joker options in 3 blocks. And in the singles, you cannot use jokers. Singles and pairs, no jokers. And that's what this looks like. And again, these dragons can be used. They just have to represent different suits. Okay, let's take a look at our next hand. And we have a kong of north, which has to be used. And then we have odds. We have a single, double, pair, pung of an odd number, same number, and then a kong of south. So any like odd numbers, they have to be the same in any 3 suits. So they have to be 3 suits in these numbers. You can't, and you can't mix them up. So you have to use north and you have to use south. The way you remember that north and south go with the odd numbers is they're spelled N-O, and then south is S-O, and O is for odds. So north and south are odds, any like odd numbers in any 3 suits. And it's exposed hand, and it's worth 25 points. And this is what that hand looks like. I chose to do 9 for my odd numbers. We have our kong of north. We have our kong of south. We have 3 suits, crack, bam, dot, single, 9 crack, pair, 9 bam, and a pung of 9 dots. And in the Kong here, you can use a joker for any of these four. And then we move over to the Pung, and you can use a joker for any of these three, any of these face tiles. And in this Kong of South, you can use a joker for any of these tiles. That's what the pattern looks like. We have Kong, single tile, pair, Pung, Kong. And those are the blocks. And here we move on to the next hand, which is similar but different. So we have a Kong of East, even numbers, Kong of West. So any like even numbers in three suits. So these can only be an even number, 2, 4, 6, 8. And you have to have three different suits. Excuse me, you have to have three different suits represented. So the way you can remember, and I might be repeating myself, is for evens, you have East, West, WE, and then evens start with an E. So all E's, East, even, West. And then just again for the North and South hand, North is NO, odds are O, odds, South, SO. And that's how you remember that North and South are the odd numbers, and then East and West are even numbers because of the E. So what's kind of cool about this hand is, well, let me show you the tiles, and then I'll let you know what's so cool. This is what that hand looks like. We have our East, our Kong of East, single, pair, Pung, Kong of West. And I chose to do 8. So I have my 3 suits represented. And jokers can be used for all of these face tiles. Jokers can be used for this Pung. Jokers can be used for this Kong, any tile in this Kong. Jokers cannot be used for a single. They cannot be used in a pair. And this is the pattern, same as the other pattern. We have Kong, single, pair, Pung, Kong. And what is actually cool about this hand, or these two hands, is they're exposed. So you can call discards for the Kongs of wins, and nobody knows what numbers you're playing. The only thing they would know is if you're playing evens or if you're playing odds, if you have a north and a south up. So, but you would have to have both because other hands have Kongs of wins. If you expose your two Kongs, then they know that you're going to be playing either evens or odds, but they don't know what number it is. So this is our next hand, and we have all wins, and then we have 2025. This is the year hand, so to speak, in our wins and dragons. And reading the parentheses, 2025, any one suit. It's exposed, and it's worth 30 points, which is great. So this 2025 can be crack, bam, or dots. And of course, wins, which are honor tiles, they do not have a suit. So the first hand here is North. It has to spell out news. It is pair of North, Pung of East, Pung of West, pair of South. And then the second hand, they just switched up the blocks. We have a Pung of North, a pair of East, a pair of West, Pung of South, and then we have our 2025. I'll show you what that looks like. I'm not going to do both hands, but I will mention what's really important in actually this whole category is that you're watching your pair Pungs and Kongs. Because when you have hands like this, it can be easy to get mixed up. Like I could easily do, without paying attention so much, is maybe Pung, 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 and then, I don't know, pair, but then I wouldn't have the right number of tiles. So it's important to make sure that you have 14 tiles before you mahjong, but also just pay attention to your combination, that you have your blocks in the right order with the right tiles. Just because you can just easily overlook that in this. And I know that by experience. I think I have mahjong, but then I'm not, like, maybe I have an extra E here or something. So I really have to pay attention to my blocks in this category. Let me show you, I have this one set up. And for this one, again, you just Pay attention to your blocks. It's pung, pair, pair, pung. Okay. This is what it looks like in tiles, that first hand. So we have pair, north, east, west, south, and then 20, 25. Your soap is your 0. So you have pair, pung. Joker can be used for any tiles here. It's exposed, so you can also do a discard and exposure. You can use a joker with any of these tiles here. And again, you can grab a discard and exposure. And then we have our pair, no joker, and our single tiles, no joker. This is what that hand looks like, and I can show you what the other hand looks like. It'll be easy to turn around. And this is that second hand. You have your pung of north, which you can use your jokers, pair of east, pair of west, pung of south, and then your 2025 with your soap as a 0. So we have pung, pair, pair, pung, single, 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 single. And again, joker's here, joker's here. It's an exposed hand, so if you have a discard of north or a discard of south in this, you can claim it and expose these two. The only time that you can claim a discard for your pairs and your single tiles is when it's your mahjong. Then you can claim that and have a mahjong. Again, just make sure your blocks are correct and in the correct hand. It can be easy to get those mixed up. All right, let's move on to the next one. This is our last hand in the Winds and Dragons category. It's a closed hand worth 30 points. And remember that since it's closed, you cannot claim a discard for any pungs or kongs in this hand. So a discard cannot be claimed for the wind, for the west, for the south, or the dragons. And reading the parentheses, kongs, any dragons. This kong of dragon can be red, soap, or white, or green. It can be any dragon. There are no suits in the wind tiles. They're honor tiles. And the dragons are honor tiles too. They just correspond with a suit. Let me show you what this looks like. And again, I just want to remind you to make sure you have your blocks correct. It's really easy in this hand, or at least it's easy for me to kind of get my blocks mixed up if I'm not really looking at the hand pattern. So let me show you what that looks like. We have our pair of north, pair of east, pung of west, which any joker can be used for any of these tiles or all of these tiles. We have a pung of south. Again, a joker can be used for any of these tiles or all of these tiles. And we have a kong of dragons, and I chose to be a little spicy today. I chose the red dragons. So, okay, I made a mistake here. Let me fix it. And with the magic of editing, I have fixed my mistake. The block tiles. So, this is what our block tiles look like. Pair, pair, pung, pung, kong. It's kind of fun. It's kind of stepping up, slowly stepping up. And you can do a joker exchange with closed hands. So that is doable because you don't have to expose anything when you do a joker exchanged. Closed hands just means you can't have any exposures. So joker exchanges are perfectly legal for closed hands. This is the last hand of Winds and Dragons, and I will show you what this Mother Nature set looks like in our last segment. So here's our set. It comes in this beautiful case. It also comes with 4 wooden racks and wooden pushers that go with the racks as well. Okay, so here are the flowers or capture tiles, and you can use the capture tiles as flowers. And this is the dog that captures the kitty. Hopefully not, though. Goes up the tree. And then we have the cat that catches the rat or the mouse. And those are called capture tiles, which are used in Singapore mahjong. And then we have the honey bear that captures the honey, eats the honey. And then we have the bunny or the hare that eats the celery or the lettuce. And then we have some fun flower tiles here with some fairy gardens or garden fairies. And then we have some very pretty pagodas here. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So another way you can tell what tiles go together are by the color of the numbers. So This is a kind of a lighter pink. This is more of a darker red. I don't know if you can see that on the video. This is a darker blue than this one. And I think it's really, when you have your seasons or your flowers or your capture tiles numbered, it makes the set more flexible because there are some versions of Mahjong that do use the numbers in their flowers. And then these are the dice that come with the set. This is a close-up look at the one BAM, and I believe it's a stylized pheasant. And these are the rest of the BAM tiles: 2 BAM, 3 BAM, 4 BAM, 5 BAM, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And I think each bird is a particular bird. I can tell that one's an owl. See, that one might be a Fisher King. I'm not sure. So those look like pheasants to me. A little chubby one there, very cute. So Katherine Hartman, she's the one that designed these tiles, and she has a shop on Etsy, and I will link it in the description. I buy stuff from her all the time. I love her artistry. She has some gorgeous tiles. She sells tiles, so check her out. And so those are the BAMs, and let's take a look at the Rishi tiles. These are the Rishi tiles, and they're red. I don't know how to play Rishi Mahjong, and Rishi Mahjong is actually Japanese Mahjong. So they use the 5 in each suit for some reason. I'm not quite sure what, but this set comes with it. So it's a very versatile set. And this is what the dot and the cracks look like. They're pretty basic, so very nice. Just very nice and whimsical. I also love the feel of the tiles. I love the sound of them too. I just love the set. And here we have the Joker up close. They're little teacups stacked on each other. We have our red dragon, very adorable. We have our green dragon, very adorable. And we have our white dragon or soap, very adorable. So this is just a delightful set to play with. She also has seat markers. So we have our east here, which looks like a little garden. Eat soup with nuts. And we have an S here. I'm thinking that's a phoenix. And then in our west, those are looking like sparrows to me. And then north, that looks like a fun little dragon. So we also have our seat markers with this set. They're very delightful. So I received this set in 2024, and each set comes with a medallion indicating the year that it was purchased. And this one, as you can see, it has the little lucky clovers and the lucky crickets on it. So this again is the set from Chris Lloyd. Thank you again for watching this video, and up next will be the 3, 6, 9 and then singles and pairs.